Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and it's that point of the year, and in my opinion it's the most exciting point of the season. It's time for kit season. The new kits are coming out left, right and centre for clubs all over Europe, but specifically today we're going to be looking at Celtic and the new releases for the Adidas range of home, away and third shirts, more specifically the away shirt today. We're going to redesign it. A little bit of an ambitious video. It could be one of my best or it could be one of my worst. It's up to your interpretation. Let's get this part out of the way, shall we? Very quickly, if you haven't already, could you please go down below, hit like, hit subscribe, it would be much appreciated. And as it is kit season, it's only right that I give away one of the new away shirts at some point, so if we can get to 35,000 subscribers as quickly as possible, I'll try and speed up that process and give away an away shirt to one of you lucky viewers. So if you haven't, make sure to go down and do it. It's absolutely free and it only takes 2 seconds. If you've been watching me long enough, you know that this is my favourite point of the year as a football fan. I call myself a bit of a fashionista when it comes to football kits, which is total lies because I'm not, but I just love it. It's one of my favourite things, watching kits come out for every club in the world, and obviously with Celtic there's more of an attachment to it because, well, it makes up 90% of my daily clothing for the next year, so I want them to be nice, I want them to be decent enough shirts. However, Adidas haven't quite got it right over the past few years. I think there's been a few shirts that have been lacklustre, some that's been really nice, but ultimately I think we're all in sort of agreement that it could deliver something a bit better for Celtic. This year's away shirt we're going to look at in a moment, but today I'm going to take some time to sit down, redesign, and give what I think would have been a somewhat better version of the shirt they've released. Pretty hard considering the effort they've gave us this season, but we're still going to try and do that. However, still excited, still buzzing. New kits. It's just like, it's like a skin refresh, isn't it? It's something refreshing, something nice, and I know a lot of people don't really care about the kits that the players wear, but I certainly do. And this expensive game that now is shirt collecting, I still love it. So let's not waste too much time. We don't need to be here all day for today's video. Let's have a look at the away shirt that Celtic have got this season, the one that Adidas have provided us for the new 2022-23 campaign, a campaign which sees Celtic go in as champions, so hopefully we're dressed like champions. So here it is. You've obviously already seen the new away shirt. If you haven't, then God knows how. You've been under a rock. But this is it for the 2022-23 campaign. Absolutely gorgeous. I think it could be Adidas's best effort yet for the shirts that they have made for Celtic. This is stunning. The colour palette, the shirt in general, the kind of crest for the badge, everything. I just think this is the perfect away shirt for Celtic. I just think it's something a bit fresh. It's not something we've really seen in recent years, this sort of colour scheme. I know we've had black a couple of times, but the kind of black and the mintier sort of green, it's just something a little bit new, and of course it's a bit of a retro vibe to it as well, as we'll look at in a moment. But I just really like it. I think it is honestly their best effort yet, and I know it's easy to get caught up in a new shirt and sometimes the recency bias takes over, but I'm struggling to think of any of the Adidas shirts that come close to this. This for me is their best. Just everything about it, I think, is really nice. There's a couple of things that I would change, like we'll go over, but the sponsor fits on the shirt well, that they haven't went over the top with it. I think that the stripes look nice, they're in the right places. Sometimes it's hard to get vertical stripes right. The sleeves have been done well. There honestly isn't a lot that I would change about this shirt. I really do think it's their best effort. Some of the promotional photos make it look exquisite, to say the least. Dyson Maeda looks tremendous in it here. Giacomakis, just no comment. I mean, I'll get shut down for being explicit. It just looks like a really nice shot. I know they're obviously photographed in nice lighting and different surroundings, but I just like this one. It's fashionable, it's clean, and it's how a football shirt should look when giving you that retro vibe. The photo of Cameron Carter-Vickers, however, is absolutely hilarious. I adore this photo. So obviously there is a throwback here to one of Celtic's past shirts, 1992. Cast your mind back to then. I wasn't even a thought in the minds of my parents, but here we are, the 1992-93 away shirt. One of my favourites actually, from the past, and it's something that I've been begging for years that Celtic try and recreate. I've been waiting on this. If you've been watching the channel long enough, I've banged on about it a few times in the past around new kit season, and I've been waiting, and finally they have decided to revisit it. There's been some fabulous concepts of a redesign for this kit over the past few years, but now that we've actually got it, I'm very excited. It's very similar similar to that shirt of 1992-93 with a couple of subtle changes that makes it unique in its own right. So I wanted to quickly dance over the Adidas shirts so far. I said that I think this is the best effort yet. I have created a league table of the Adidas shirts so far. We have had 7 released shirts since the partnership with Adidas began, after we moved on from New Balance. And here is my list of what I think is best to worst of the Adidas shirts. And I would say that some of their efforts have been boring. You look at the bottom end of the table. For me, I've got the 2 home shirts that they've released so far. I think in terms of home shirts, you know, you can't do too much to a Celtic home shirt, but I think they've been typically bad efforts. I wasn't a massive fan of either of them. And, you know, the top end, there is some stunners. I loved last year's third shirt, for example. I loved the kind of Love Street away shirt that they gave us in the first season. But this, for me, so far, is their best work making the Celtic kits. So enough banging on about the shirt that you've all seen and loved so far. It's time to get to the part you've been waiting for, the part you've clicked on for, my redesign. What have I changed about this great shirt? Because honestly, what can you change about a shirt so nice? There's a couple of things. So let's get into my redesign. And there you have it. This is my redesign of the Celtic 2022-23 away shirt. And disclaimer, I am not a graphic designer. I'm not a kit designer. I'm not a Photoshop artist. I have a very limited set of skills that make things like this a nightmare for me. So I have tried my absolute best. But in saying that, I'm very proud of my efforts. I think that this is stunning. I really like my redesign, and it's a few subtle changes to the shirt. You'll be probably sitting there going, Ryan, what have you actually changed? Well, let's have a little look over that. So let's look over the obvious change that I have made. I have added a collar to the shirt. Now, I have said this time and time again over the past however many years I've done this channel, I love a collar on a football shirt. In fact, if it was up to me, Celtic would always have collars on their shirts. I just think they make the shirts pop a bit more. It adds a little more character. I think you don't need to add them if it's pointless, but for this shirt, I think a collar would be brilliant. Just like the 92-93 shirt that had a collar. For this collar, I've gone with the same sort of pattern and design that Adidas are going with on their Manchester United and Arsenal kits so far for the new season. I really thought that because of that, Celtic would see something similar on at least one of their shirts, but due to the leaks we've seen so far, we're not going to get that, it looks like. So I have added a collar here. You see there's a sort of retro pattern. It's something fresh, it's different. It's not just the same as the 92-93 shirt. And I've also added a wee white button, just a singular white button up at the top of the shirt to kind of bring the collar together. I really wanted a collar in this shirt. I was disappointed there wasn't one. It doesn't ruin the shirt for me, but I just think by adding a collar, it could have been a little bit nicer. And this is the sort of colour I'd have loved on it. Something with a pattern on it, not just a block colour. Something that stands out a little bit from colours that we normally see on shirts. The other change that I've made is at the cuffs of the sleeve. I don't really like the half and half effort that they've gave us. Half of the cuff being black, half of it being the sort of greenish colour. I would like it just to be the same colour all round, and I think it should be green all round, just to bring the whole cuff together. It cuts off the shirt nicely. Obviously for long sleeves, it would be brought down. We don't get a long sleeves of this shirt ultimately, but if it was, it would come down to the sort of wrists. But I've decided to just make it the one block colour. I just feel like it looks a lot better being solid, rather than it being half black, half whatever colour of green this is. Is it teal? Is it mint? I don't know. Whatever it is, I think it would just look nicer if it was all the one colour. And for the front of the shirt, that's really the only 2 changes that I thought were necessary. I wouldn't change anything else. I like this shape around the badge, the kind of crest that it's in. We can still see the 1 star. I would maybe add a sort of black border to the star to make it stand out a bit more, but I just left it the way it was. You know, there's a kind of black border around the Adidas badge, but I just kept it like that. And ultimately, I don't think we need too much changes. The Adidas stripes fit in well with the shirt. The vertical stripes are perfect for me. They are slightly different from that 92-93 shirt, but that is mostly the changes I would make. But for sponsors, let's have a look at some alternative sponsor options. Ultimately, this is the sponsor we have right now, Dafabet. And I think on this shirt, it's the best that the Dafabet sponsor has looked. A lot of people prefer the sponsorless shirts, but for me, sponsors are a massive part of a football shirt, and I never buy sponsorless shirts unless it's proper stinking. I just think it's always a kind of a necessary part of a shirt. You know what I mean? The Dafabet logo hasn't been pretty though since they became our shirt sponsors back in 2016. It's been a tough one to really enjoy looking at. But this effort, I think, is maybe its best. I think that the fact it's all white, it's got a nice black border, and it's all together rather than being the upper and lower parts, I think looks nice. However, it would be good if we could change it up. If it was so easy just to change a sponsor, it would be great. Here it is with the current CR Smith logo. We all know the CR Smith logo as one of the most classic Celtic sponsors on shirts. It's probably the one that stands out in most people's heads when you think of a shirt sponsor, probably followed by Carling. I was thinking about putting Carling on it, but I just think that CR Smith looks better, and if we were to go with the modern day logo, that's it there. However, what about the retro twist? There. I think that is a winner. That, for me, with the old CR Smith logo, is just absolutely perfect. Retro vibes to the extreme, you could say. I absolutely adore it. I wish it was as simple as giving CR Smith a phone and going, here, see your old logo. Do you want to slap it on the Celtic shirt? Doesn't matter. Don't pay us anything. We just want it for fashion purposes solely. The back of the shirt. I am annoyed that the pattern doesn't follow through the entire shirt. And as you can see here, I have added stripes to the back. This was the most difficult part. As you can see, it's not as clean as how I think I've designed the front of the shirt, but I have added stripes to the back. Basically, the back for the shirt is just plain black, solid black colour. I think it might be for European football purposes, you know, when the home shirt has to be blocked off with like a white square so that they can see the numbers. I think that's the reason it's like all black. So I went ahead and added the stripes to the back of the shirt. There's the magners, there's the numbers thrown onto it as well. I just think it would be nice if it went through the whole thing just like it did with the original back in 92, 93. So I have added stripes there. I think that's the only improvement I can make. I wish I could make it look more even. You know, like the stripes, it was difficult. It was really fucking difficult. And there it is, side by side, the front and the back of the redesign of the away shirt for me. I really like my redesign, I must admit. Especially the front. The back's a bit annoying because I couldn't get it perfectly sitting the way I wanted it to. But, yeah. What do you think? I like it. I like my redesign, to be quite honest with you. Trust me, if I could Photoshop it onto players and all that nonsense, if I was a good graphic designer, I would do that to give us a better perspective of how it could look on a player. But I'm not that good. Right? Talking is my skill, not graphic design. So I've tried my best to give what I think would be a nice redesign of the Celtic away shirt. And that's it. That's it for today's video. A little bit of a change, something different, a little bit more fun. Let me know what you think. I'm going to try and do the same for the home shirt. If you enjoyed it, we'll see what we can do. But yeah, that's pretty much me at the point I need to be at, isn't it? Like and subscribe. What would you change? See you next time.